Hi there, how's it going, guys? My name is Marley, and this is the first episode of Food Crush with Marley. Today we're going to do something pretty simple, but something that I really personally love. We're going to fry some potatoes. I'm Romanian. Romanians love potatoes. It's a staple food there. It's a peasant food. So yeah, I'm going to walk you guys through this pretty simple, but really, really delicious recipe. So the first thing that you want to do is take your potato. I'm only doing one. And you're going to want to wash it. You want to make sure that the potato is really, really clean. The last thing you want is there to be like a piece of dirt or something weird on there. So I like to just really clean it. I actually cleaned this one already before we started filming. Cleaning it again because I'm kind of a clean freak. But it's okay. Cleaner the better. Also, if you see any ears on your potatoes, feel free to cut those off. And as you're cutting, as we'll see here, if we have a good potato, if there are any brown or black spots, we're going to cut those out as well. So first things first, we are going to take the potato, lay it down however side you want, cut it in half. Pretty simple. And I already see a black spot, so we're going to take that out. And we're going to do about maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch slices. You might lose a potato on the cutting board. You know, they're kind of sticky, but it's okay. They're pretty cheap. So yeah, we're going to cut this out. We're going to cut out that little blemish. We're going to cut out a little bit more of that little blemish that I see here. And we're going to do the same thing to this half as you did the other half. Potatoes are just one of those foods that just I find so comforting. My family immigrated to America when I was a little kid. And it just has always been like a thing that just really brings me home. Okay, so once your potatoes are cut into however shape you want, I did little quarter moons. You can do whatever you want. We're going to soak these in a little bit of ice water. And I have this big ice cube thing that I just find really easy. Just put the cube in there. Come over to the sink. Fill it with water. Should be good. Take your taters. Just drop them in. And while these are soaking, we are going to go over to the pan and just make sure that the pan is good and hot. So today we're going to do it with olive oil, which is what I have. No other oil, but traditionally if you're doing a fried potato, you want to use something with a really high smoke point. Vegetable oil will work, Crisco will work. If you have access to sunflower seed oil, I really love sunflower seed oil, and you're going to want to do a generous amount of oil in the pan. My oil giver is a little stingy today, but we're going to see how much oil I can get. You want to do about, per potato, I would say like about 1.5 tablespoons of oil. We're going to turn this all the way to high. And we're gonna let the oil get a little viscous. Just when it looks like it's gonna run a little bit faster on the bottom of the pan than when you initially put it in. You know, speaking about sunflower oil though, I have this very special memory of my grandma. I was visiting Romania with my family, I believe in 1997, and we were at her cousin's house, and her cousin had a press and a field of sunflowers, and they made sunflower seed oil right then and there on the spot. And I remember my grandma just took a potato just like this and fried it for me in the fresh sunflower seed oil, and I've never been able to recreate that flavor. It was just out of this world. But these are going to be just as good in olive oil, but I'm saying really, go to town, it's a potato. Alrighty, so we're going to come back here. We're going to strain these potatoes that we've had soaking. I would normally let these soak in the fridge maybe for half an hour, but for the sake of it, you don't really need to do that. The soaking just kind of makes the potato fry just a little bit better, right? We're gonna take these potatoes that we just drained and we're gonna give them a little bit of a drying too. And my grandma also always said to salt at the beginning and at the end. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna give these guys some salt. I like to use a salt, it's maybe snobbish, and you can really use any salt. Like I said, this is a peasant food. Any seasoning that you really like. I like to use a somewhat like coarse sea salt. I just think it has like a bolder flavor. A kosher salt is also really, really good. But really, any old kind of salt would do perfectly. And I'm generous with the salt too. So that is that. And our oil looks really good. It looks viscousy. It looks like it's just kind of like running along the pan, having no problem at all. This is what we want. This is really good. So I'm gonna add the potatoes. And if there's any like water on them still, don't worry about that. These are gonna have to steam a little bit anyways. So I put them in. I get them going a little bit. I cover. And I just leave them. And they're gonna just stay like that for about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm gonna come back to them. And we're gonna keep doing that until they're all really nice and golden brown on each side. And they're gonna be crispy on the outside and really, really flavorful and really, really soft in the middle. So these are gonna get going. I'm gonna clean up a little bit and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. And welcome back, guys. So I just prepared a little bowl with paper towel in it just to absorb all the oil that we have going on with the potatoes. So normally I would do like 5 minutes per side, but I am noticing that this one potato that I have going is kind of going a little bit faster. So we give it about 3 minutes and we're gonna give it a little shake. And I have to keep my burner kind of like on a high, medium high. But you know, if you're not comfortable or if you don't like the smell of smoke too much, or not the smell of smoke, with the smell of oil, you can cook these a little bit more low and slow. They're obviously going to take a little bit longer and they may not be as crispy, but they're going to be just as good. I always do a double lidding, so we're going to do the lidding one more time, and it's going to be maybe like another 3 minutes or so. You can always also use tongs, which I love. I like the skinnier ones that are a little bit, they're just easier to handle than those like kind of like clunky ones that like look like a big clamshell. And tongs, whenever you're frying, you need to use longer tongs. Don't use short tongs, or do. You know, really, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to inspire you to make a potato. And on that note, I'm just gonna let these guys go a little bit longer. I love to eat. I love food. I've always been really passionate about food. And it's just something that just brings me joy, and it's really just easy to bring people together with. It's such a cliche to say, I know. But I really feel like that. And, you know, have you ever been to just like a dinner party and like the day before you're going through life and, you know, your days are not going as you wanted it to go, and then you get to your friend's house or your parents' house or your whoever's house, you have a glass of wine or you have a glass of milk if you don't drink, and you're just, you know, immediately transported. So that's the power of food in my opinion. Let's check on the potatoes, guys. So these are looking really good. We're gonna give it a little bit more oil because these are kind of, you know, it's a fried potato. Ideally these would be, you know, deep fried, but this is kind of like a healthier, more low-cal version. I love these with like feta cheese, Parmesan cheese. You want to chop up some basil on it. Go for it. Tomatoes, go for it. Literally anything you can think of. I make a big batch of these when I make them normally, and I'll just like dip them in hummus the next day. Or if you want to make like a really fun tzatziki, you can. I think we're going to do an episode where I make a tzatziki because she loves Greek food. She loves all food. She loves all food. Alright, so we're going to let these kind of chill out. They're getting brown. They're looking really good. I'm going to use a tong just to kind of help these guys that won't flip when I flip it. How rude, right? Over. And hope for the best. This is a new stove. I've always cooked these on like a gas range, and gas is, you know, it's kind of a lot easier to manage the heat. This electric stovetop is a little bit finicky. So the browning isn't exactly how I would have wanted it, but the fact that there is browning, it means really good. That means flavor, and you know, it's a comfort food. So really, there isn't really a wrong way to fry a potato. We do have a fan in case you know. Your potatoes, they get really smoky, which they might get sometimes. Give it a little fan. Give it a little fan. I got a fan over here too. We have, you know, the air is circulating in this apartment right now, and it is an apartment. I'm not in a professional kitchen. Alrighty. So these are looking just about done. I think I'm going to keep my eye on these for a few more minutes. And then when we get back, I'm going to plate these up and we're going to see how they look. See you soon. Alright guys, so we're back. I just drank a beer really quick. But if you can't have fun while you're cooking, what's the point? Anyway, so these are just about ready. Also, if you guys are done with these and you have like an herb butter or like just some butter, some garlic you want to throw in at the end, I say go for it. I'm going to take mine over here, like I said, to the bowl with the paper and towel in it already. Depending on how comfortable you feel with the hot pan, drop them in or use the tongs. We're going to clean up this big oil mess in a little bit. We're going to worry about that. I got my salt and pepper handy. I also like to do a little bit of onion powder, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to put anything on them. If you like a really just kind of cooked potato, that's fine. That's the glory of the pomme de terre, the apple of the earth. Understated, but really, really delicious. Anyways, so we're going to start plating. I'm going to give them a generous seasoning. I would say maybe like 10 shakes. Maybe less. Just go with your flavor palette. Pepper, iconic. Iconic spice. You know, people fought wars over this thing. It's kind of crazy. And then I'm just going to do like just a few dashes of onion powder because a little is long with onion powder. And then we're going to give this a little bit of a flip in here. And again, depending on how you feel, depending on your level of who you're serving, who your people are that you're serving, I just go ahead and just put them in. And these are looking pretty good, but they're not looking as plentiful as I want, so I'm actually going to do the whole pan. And I serve these with something really simple as well. Nothing crazy. Mayonnaise and ketchup, but I like to make a sriracha ketchup, so basically just Heinz ketchup, sriracha on top, mix it that if you want. And we're gonna give this a taste, see how it is. Alright, time for the tasting, you guys. These just, like I said before, are one of my favorites. I have a crush on them. A little bit of mayo, a little bit of sriracha ketchup. Nice crisp on the outside, falls apart in your mouth like a baked potato or like a mashed potato in your mouth. Simple food, peasant food, that's what I love. I really want you guys to try this. And I'm gonna dig in and just go crazy on these. Thanks again for watching. I find you crushable. I hope you find me crushable. This has been Food Crush with Marley. Tune in for episode 2. Bye guys.